I am Matthew Wales, and today I will be talking about the evolution of mankind. First, I will be talking about the taxonomy of Homo sapiens. As you can see, Homo sapiens is the scientific name for humans, which includes genus and species, which Carl Linnaeus attributed to in 1758. As you can see from the chart below, there are 7 taxonomy levels, including kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. And genus and species make up the scientific name Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens are animalia, which means they're eukaryotic, and they're also multicellular organisms. They're chordata, mammalia, which means they're endothermic animals. They're also primates alongside apes, and they're in the family Homidea, which includes the genus Homo and Pan is the genus for chimpanzees and other apes. And of course, the species is Sapiens, which completely classifies them as their own organisms. I'll now be talking about the habitat of Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens currently inhabit permanent settlements located in all continents except Antarctica and in all habitable islands. Homo sapiens inhabit all terrestrial habitats and modified habitats as well. This is why the species is so dominant, and it also contributes to the evolution of Homo sapiens. They live in all regions, including the temperate, tropical, polar, and terrestrial regions. And as you can see from the map, most of the population lives on coastal lines. They live near regions with fertile soil, and they also live near rivers for transportation. And 55% of the population lives in the temperate regions. As I said earlier, Homo sapiens live in diverse environments, and therefore they have the ability to adapt to the climate and also alter the ecosystems, which makes them a dominant species. However, it also is destructive to the environment. Homo sapiens vary significantly, however, they share certain characteristics. Humans vary in behavior, biochemistry, and their phenotypes. This is a result of the location of where they live and the environmental influence. However, they do share certain characteristics, such as they are all endothermic, bilaterally symmetrical, they're biped, which means they walk on 2 feet, they're polymorphic, which means they can be classified in multiple groups, for example, race and sex. And I put morphology in both categories because it does vary, however, it is very similar. I will now give a brief summary of the phylogeny of primates. All primates, including Homo sapiens, share a common ancestor dating back 60 million to 70 million years ago. As you can see, the evolutionary tree branched off relatively early, giving a rise to the prosimians and the anthropoids. Within the anthropoids is the clade hominoids. This separates monkeys from hominoids, which includes apes. Finally, within the hominoids is the hominids, which includes Homo sapiens. As you can tell, chimpanzees and Homo sapiens are very close together on the evolutionary tree, and therefore it is scientifically proven that 98.8% of DNA is shared. Here is a visual of the genera of Homo sapiens lineage. The first genus is the Ardipithecus, which includes the Ramidus and Catawba species. The second genus is the Australopithecus, which includes the Africanus, Afarensis, and Anamensis species. And finally is the Homos genus, which includes the Sapiens as well as the Habilis erectus and the Neanderthals. There are other species within Homo, however I'm only going to be talking about these 4. This image gives a more in-depth perception of the evolution of Homo sapiens. As you can see, it begins with the Sahelanthropus chadensis, then it continues with the Ardipithecus ramidus, and then it goes to the Australopithecus afarensis africanus and the Anamensis, and then it evolves into Homo genus, which includes the Habilis, the erectus, the Neanderthals, and the Sapiens. The first evolutionary species I'll be talking about is the Sahelanthropus chadensis. Although Homo sapien evolution is unclear, this species may represent a common ancestor of Homo sapiens and pan troglodytes. Scientists have only discovered one specimen fossil of the Sahelanthropus chadensis. This specimen was located in the Jarab Desert in northern Chad, Africa between 2001 and 2002. As you can see, the specimen is located to the left of the slide and its name is Tumai. It is composed of the cranium, a portion of the mandible, and some teeth. Scientists have not yet found any postcranial remains, and therefore it is difficult to fully understand what the species was. The species is estimated to have lived 7 million years ago. This is hypothesized through the sediment isotope analysis of cosmogenic atoms of the fossil. Scientists also hypothesized that this species had a relatively small brain due to the fact that the cranial volume is 320 to 380 cubic centimeters. Finally, it is also hypothesized that this species was a biped due to the anterior position of the foramen magnum. The second evolutionary species I will be talking about is the Ardipithecus ramidus. The most famous specimen fossil of the Ardipithecus ramidus is named Adri. It is a 45% specimen of the skeletal structure. It was located in Afar, Ethiopia, the Awash region in 1994. This species is estimated to have lived 4.3 to 4.5 million years ago. This is hypothesized through radiometric dating of the volcanic ash encasing the specimen. Scientists also conclude that the hallux was adapted for primitive locomotion within the trees. Also, the cranium volume is comparable to the previous species with a volume of 300 to 350 cubic centimeters. The most significant discovery of this species is the decreased canine measure. This proposes that there was less male-on-male conflict and increased pair bonding and social behavioral changes within the species. The third evolutionary species I will be talking about is the Australopithecus afarensis. Fossils of over 300 specimens of the Australopithecus afarensis species have been discovered in eastern Africa. The most famous is the Laetoli footprints, which is a series of approximately 70 foot impressions measuring 27 meters in total. This was discovered in Laetoli, Tanzania, Africa in 1978. A second famous specimen fossil is Lucy, which was discovered in Hadar, Ethiopia, Africa in 1974. This species is hypothesized to be bipedal, as the Laetoli footprints were of a bipedal species. Also, Lucy had a wide pelvis and also had angled femurs, as do modern humans. Also, the cranium volume increased to 450 cubic centimeters. This could propose that the cerebral cortex enlarged significantly. If this is true, the species had become significantly more intelligent. The fourth evolutionary species I will be talking about is the Homo habilis. There are various Homo habilis specimen fossils located in the Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania, Africa. 3 are listed above. Olduvai hominid 62, which includes a humerus and femur, OH24, which includes a cranium, and OH7, which includes a mandible completed with molars and incisors, as well as 20 skeletal fragments of the left hand. This species is estimated to have lived 1.5 to 2.1 million years ago. Also, the cranium volume increased to 600 cubic centimeters, which furthers the theory of the enlargement of the cerebral cortex, resulting in greater intelligence. Also, it is proven scientifically that the phalanges of the hand adapted to develop a greater precision. As a result, tools were used by this species. The utilization of tools for hunting permitted the hominids to dramatically increase the amount of meat in their diet. This provided a rich source of protein and fats By this time, hominid brains were significantly larger than the brains of the Australopithecines. The fifth and final evolutionary species I'm going to talk about is the Homo erectus. Scientists hypothesize that the Homo erectus is the direct ancestor to Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. The Homo erectus cranial capacity of 830 cubic centimeters to 1,100 cubic centimeters indicates that the use of tools increased the amount of protein and fat in their diet, ultimately enlarging their brain significantly. Also, Homo erectus is the first hominid species to have specimen fossils located in regions other than Africa. Scientists believe this species spread from Africa into Eurasia. Also, it is believed that the Homo erectus used fire, coordinated communities, and communicated. Scientists believe this species had the Broca's area. The Broca's area is the region of the frontal lobe of the dominant hemisphere which functions speech production. The Homo erectus likely communicated in a proto-language lacking the fully developed structure of modern human language, but more developed than the non-verbal communication used by chimpanzees. As I said before, scientists believe the Neanderthals and Homo sapiens evolved from the Homo erectus, and they continued to spread into Eurasia as the Homo erectus had. The Homo sapiens and the Neanderthals were significantly different, and natural selection favored the Homo sapiens because of their intelligence and intellectual ability compared to the Neanderthals' physical dominance. Also, small sequences of the Neanderthal genome are found in humans of Asia and European descent. Scientists conclude that there was some interbreeding presence between the two species. The species of the genus Homo were located in the middle of the food chain. However, with the evolution of the Homo sapiens, this species ascended to the top of the food chain extremely quick. The Homo sapiens differed from other species as they relied on their intellectual sense to make them dominant rather than their physical ability. As the Homo sapiens evolved, their muscles atrophied, and this energy diverted to the neurons of the brain. The increased concentration of nerves and finely tuned muscles in the palms and fingers allowed the species to perform very intricate tasks. Truly, intelligence was their weapon, which is why natural selection favored them.